So would you blame the citizens for that? So most of the time, see, when people vote, there's lethargy will come in. When people discover that their votes do not count. Yes, of course, the citizens have a responsibility to hold. I believe very strongly that the primary responsibility of the citizen is to ensure that you don't allow yourself to be misruled, and then you need to push back. You understand? But there's a limit, because there will be state authorities and overstate its usefulness. Is no longer as it was. For me personally, I would never allow any of my children to go and serve up north. I will not allow any of my children, no matter what. They would rather not serve than for them to go to the north and serve, because of the kind of terrible things that are happening. Even before the Boko Haram insurgency, there were times that, they will see female coppers in, a lot of things were happening to people up north when they would go and serve. And he said that people from the corner were not coming to the south to serve. So why should I send any of my children to go there and serve? I've told any of my, even the one that I've graduated, I ensure that they did not go. So they did not go to places where their security will not be guaranteed. I will not send my children to a place where they will serve and die. You have to serve.
Mr. Adebayo, so we don't deviate, too far from the focus, So I want us to, really focus on what the role of the Nigerian citizen should be. And that's why I also earlier mentioned, aside the electoral process, because that has, of course, been established. If Nigerians do not vote, then they shouldn't complain. So aside the electoral process, what should be the role of the Nigerian citizen in making Nigeria great again?
One of the major crucial roles that we must play now, especially at the kind of crossroads that we are as a country now, is what they say. So all the people, the prominent foreigners, they measure them and they condemn them one by one. And I stood up and asked a question: who are we voting for? Okay, assuming, without considering that all these ones that you have said, we have mentioned, they are not qualified to rule Nigeria for one reason or the other, for one baggage or the other. Are you running? He said he's not running. Okay, who is running? Who is that credible Nigerian that is running, that has come out now? He started mentioning some names, and I said, are those names, have they come out to say they want to contest? So you see, the thing is that if Nigerians will have to pick, there's something that Franz Fanon called a circle of certainty. We'll have to pick from a circle of certainty if the so-called credible, honest, and patriotic Nigerians do not come out to contest for elections. And you say, if you mention this one, no, he was corrupt. You see this one is bad. This one is not patriotic. We can't trust this one. And these are the people who are coming out to say they want to contest for the presidency and the governorship of this country. So how do you, if the people that claim to be credible do not come out, people who claim to be patriotic, people who claim to be clean and they are incorruptible, if they are sitting back and they are not coming out to come and contest, then you leave Nigeria with no choice, because you cannot vote for somebody who does not contest. If those of you sitting in the studio there and I here refuse to contest in an election, and we condemn people come out to contest, then we also lack the right to condemn people, because you have to vote for people who are coming out. There are incredible people in this country. There are great individuals in this country. There are capable people in this country who can rule this country and manage our diversity in the far better skills that one of them gave. He said people who are governors now are in their 40s and this and that he in his 50s, he should not be seen contesting for governorship. And we believe that he was in a position to rescue his state, to govern very well, because he has succeeded. Many of the elite, because I don't call them ruling class, these ruling cliques who have been holding us hostage from independence to date. If the good people refuse to come, the so-called good people refuse to come out and contest.
All right.
Okay, so...
I think that I need to declare for the presidency just to agree with what he has said. You rescue the party structure. The party structure starts from the what? From the local government. That's where these are the power centers. So we need citizens to be members of this political. 6 million Lagosians are members. That's because the citizen needs to own the polity. Have you seen the president of the United States of America commissioning a road before? Have you seen a mayor commissioning a road? It is in Nigeria that people will throw parties, extravagant party, to commission a road, and then they will have Ashwebi, and they will start.
Justin, for the want of time, because in no time we're just going to wrap it up here. And the question here is how can citizens, and then you also want to look at some quota systems, especially in the educational sector. And then even as much as we think that some of these policies are supposed to unite the people and also ensure equality. And so most times you find out that state of origin reflects in almost everything. So you get to different parts of, the country, and then you're being asked, because of the...
Those identity and have one identity to be recognized as Nigerian. In Nigeria, you are an indigene of a local government, an origin of a state, and a citizen of Nigeria. Those are the three identities we have. An indigene of a local government, an origin of the state, that's your state of origin, and then you have citizen of Nigeria. You see that we place citizenship on the third pedestal. We need to remove those two if we really want to move forward in this country. For us to be first, you move to Eastern region, they remove the ethnic coloration. You don't identify yourself whether you are Hutu or Tutsi. You are Rwanda. Do Americans identify themselves by states? Said, I'm an American citizen. I'm a British citizen. And I think that for us to really build this nation, we must identify ourselves as a citizen of Nigeria, not as an origin of a state. And if you take that to what you have said, who believes in rotational president? We must remove this quota system and the rest of it. Rather than help us, it has further divided. And join a political party. Vote in the primaries of the party. Vote in the main election. Be interested in what happens to you. Ask questions. We can write petition. People know things and they are citizens is to petition. There's a document I will share with you. Responsibility of citizens is to petition. You can write, this guy owns one house, and the judiciary doing their job.
Nigeria's affairs, or in the voting process, or in questioning, excessive wealth of my leaders, or, my National Assembly members and the likes. The reason I don't want to bother myself, as to whether a governor, has used billions of naira to build a road that could have been built with 100 million naira is really because Nigeria hasn't shown me that it loves me. And so I cannot in that way bother myself with caring, about Nigeria. Would that be a fair argument for a Nigerian citizen?
Absolutely not. I think it is self-defeatist. It is retrogressive thinking to make that anybody will come to that conclusion. The thing is that just like the Bible says, the kingdom of God suffereth violence and the violent take it by force. It's the same. We will not have people, rogues, ruling us. You understand me? The number one responsibility of a citizen nation building is to hold your leaders accountable. We are not doing that enough in this country. And it is also part of the elitist conspiracy that we are not educating our people enough. You see, it is easier now to populate a church than to populate a political party. Because what happens is this, you go to campaign. One of the things, some people have joined politics and are like, you have a prisoner. Nigerians are behaving like prisoners who somebody comes and says, I want to bail you out. And the prisoner is saying that, except you pay me, I will not come out of this prison. We must change that mentality. And it is the responsibility of the civil society to ensure that we campaign vociferously to ensure that people are politically educated enough to can do in a jiffy. We need to really, it will take a lot of time, a lot of energy and commitment and devotion and dedication to be able to bring Nigerians to begin to trust in Nigeria. A lot of people have lost trust. They have lost belief in Nigeria. They have lost faith in Nigeria. And we need to rebuild that faith. You understand? Especially in the last 6 or so years, where, we have never been this divided, as in, we have returned to pre-CTC's era of absolute distrust among ourselves. We need to rebuild trust. As whoever is going to become Nigeria's next president, the number one assignment that he has to do is to reunite this country and to ensure that we become colorblind to the issue of ethnicity and religion so that we can build this country together. This is a great country that God has built.
Argument that Nigeria has not shown me any love, hasn't shown me any care, and so I would not bother myself, I wouldn't kill myself, I wouldn't go.
Dramatic annihilation of the grassroots, destruction of the local government. Now, where power comes from. Now, we are now operating a feudalistic democracy, whereby somebody will sit either in Abuja or will sit somewhere in Ikoyi and will dictate who becomes. Short conversation with one young chap. I said, in this our local government, if they allow us to decide and to dictate what happens in local government, we know ourselves. We know who can rule and who should be our local government. Our local government can be a model local government. Like a city, you have United States of America. But I said, you know what? They will not allow that to thrive because the few that lost.
Corrupt leaders, therefore, is a reflection that the people are corrupt. And if you have leaders that are, divided towards ethnic differences, it therefore shows that we're also those kind of persons. So because we throw up the kind of leaders that we have, do you agree with this postulation that because we have corrupt leaders, we're also corrupt persons?
All right, so hold on. That's a brilliant question. I think both guests would have to respond to that, but we need to get updates on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway accident, multiple accidents that occurred in the early hours of this morning. We'll, of course, share with you some pictures. There are reports that people are scooping petrol from one of the tankers that, of course, was involved in the accident. And so we'll quickly get to share some of those pictures with you this morning on The Breakfast. Once again, of course, it's from the Otedola Bridge accident. And reports reaching us say that citizens are taking advantage of the situation and scooping petrol from one of the tankers that was involved in the accident. Those are the latest updates on that. Of course, we would continue to follow up and share with you every... there you have it. Nigerian citizen taking what he believes is rightfully his. And of course, we have one of our cameramen present. Mr. Kufre, can you hear us clearly?
Clear.
All right, so quickly share with us what seems to be going on there. We see someone with a small keg and a little basin on his head. What's the current situation over there?
If I hear you clearly, the current situation going on now is that young men are salvaging fuel. You see them collecting fuel from the tanker that turned upside down, and they check and whatever they see, and you see them carrying fuel as if they are fetching water, which is very, very dangerous. It is very, very dangerous, and the sun is coming out at this time. There can be explosion at any time.
Yeah, I hope you are.
I was going to say,
I hope you are at a safe distance.
To the gutters into the estate.
Yeah, I was saying.
Them on the emergency line 767, and a response was given to me immediately, and they confirmed everything. So they said they are going to send a response team immediately after the call. So I'm still waiting to see what time they will arrive.
All right, brilliant.
As I'm talking to you now, I'm not close to that place because I was threatened that if I try to bring out my equipment, I will be stabbed. They showed me knives, 2-edged knives, that if I try it, they would deal with me, deal with my family. So I have to leave that place, come into the estate. As I'm talking to you now, I'm in the Otedola estate for security reasons.
All right, that's our cameraman. Remember to stay safe and stay at a safe distance. And would, of course, be connecting with you as quickly as possible once again. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, I didn't get you. Please come again.
We will reconnect with you. We'll be speaking with you again soon. Thank you very much for what you've shared with us. And remember to stay safe.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So it brings us back to the question now. The same
Believes that he has a right to it. It's pre-Bendalism mentality that characterizes. And it's unfortunate that this is 8:38 in the morning. This incident happened very close to the seat of government in Lagos State. And you have not seen an emergency response to that effect. And that even the life of someone going about giving us an accurate report was threatened. Knives were brought out, and his family and everything was threatened. And yet, you have emergency response. And then funds are voted for this, for LASEMA, for all this type of agency, for FEMA and the rest of it. And then we have not seen, it's happening in the heart of Lagos. It's not happening in Ekpe. You know, about this time last year, something happened